It was just another rainy Tuesday afternoon, and Mia was on her feet again, juggling plates, wiping down tables, and forcing a smile through the exhaustion. The small-town diner where she worked wasn't anything fancy, but it kept the lights on, barely. She was used to being overlooked, used to the long hours and short tips. No one ever really paid attention to the waitress refilling coffee or clearing crumbs. And Mia liked it that way. Life was already complicated enough. Raising her little brother after their parents passed, working double shifts to make rent, and giving up her dreams of culinary school, there was no room for anything else, especially not surprises. But that day, something felt different. In the corner booth, a man sat quietly, alone, dressed far too nicely for a place like this. He didn't look up when she brought his order, didn't speak much, just nodded politely. She figured he was passing through, another tired traveler or bored businessman. What Mia didn't know was that this stranger wasn't just anyone. He was a billionaire, a tech giant who'd disappeared from the public eye years ago. And for reasons she couldn't have guessed, he was watching her very closely. Mia didn't think twice when she paid for a homeless man's meal with her own tips. She didn't notice the stranger glance up when she gave the cook half her lunch. And she definitely didn't expect what happened next, when he left without a word, but not before slipping something into the receipt folder that would change everything. Because that quiet customer wasn't just watching, he was testing. And what Mia would discover next would flip her world upside down, in ways no one, not even she, could have imagined. For years, Mia's life had been a constant balancing act. After losing her parents in a tragic accident, she became the guardian for her younger brother, Jake. At just 22, Mia had more responsibility on her shoulders than most people twice her age. The diner was more than a job, it was survival. Every dollar she made went toward rent, groceries, and Jake's school supplies. Dreams of culinary school, a world of flavors and creativity she once longed for, had quietly been put aside. There wasn't time for dreams, not when reality was so demanding. The diner itself was a small, worn-down place where regulars came for comfort food and familiar faces. Mia knew everyone by name, their orders memorized like a second language. She worked alongside Pete, the cook, who treated her like family and had become a steady support in her chaotic life. They shared stories between rushes and laughter over burnt toast. But beneath the surface, Mia kept her struggles private. She didn't want pity, and she didn't want distractions. Then there was the man from that rainy afternoon. The billionaire, whose name Mia didn't even know yet, had somehow appeared like a shadow in her world. He watched her quietly, almost invisibly, taking in every small act of kindness she offered to strangers and co-workers alike. When Mia found the envelope in the receipt folder, her hands trembled. Inside was a note, simple but filled with an unexpected invitation to meet, to talk, to maybe change everything. Conflicted and unsure, Mia kept the envelope hidden, not ready to face the consequences of stepping into a life so far removed from her own. Questions swirled in her mind. Why was he watching her? What did he see in a struggling waitress that no one else did? And what was he really after? The diner carried on, the rain outside still falling, but inside, Mia's world was beginning to shift, and nothing would ever be the same again. Days passed, but the mysterious invitation kept lingering in Mia's mind like an unfinished song. She couldn't shake the feeling that this billionaire stranger, someone from a world so far beyond her own, was somehow connected to the future she'd stopped believing in. Yet, fear held her back. What if this was a mistake? What if stepping into his world meant losing everything she'd worked so hard to protect? At the diner, things began to change in small ways. Pete noticed Mia's distracted mood and asked if everything was all right, but she'd brushed it off. Jake, too, seemed restless, sensing that something was different but not knowing what. Mia worried about how this new path might affect her brother, the one constant in her life. Meanwhile, word started spreading in town about the billionaire's sudden interest in a local diner waitress. Rumors swirled. Was it a publicity stunt? A business venture? or something more personal? The attention made Mia uncomfortable. She had spent years flying under the radar, and now all eyes were on her. At the same time, the man himself remained an enigma. Behind the polished image of wealth and power, he was a man haunted by his own past mistakes. Once a ruthless entrepreneur, he had retreated from the spotlight after a scandal left his reputation in ruins. Meeting Mia sparked something unexpected, hope, maybe even redemption. But not everyone wanted this new connection to succeed. Competitors and rivals lurked in the background, ready to exploit any weakness. Vanessa, his former partner, watched from the sidelines, plotting to regain control. Her intentions were far from kind. Caught between two worlds, one of survival and the other of opportunity, Mia faced a choice that would test her strength, her values, and her heart. And as the tension built, she realized this was more than just a chance encounter. It was a turning point. The day of the meeting arrived, and Mia's nerves felt like a storm inside her chest. She stood in front of a glass building that gleamed under the morning sun, far removed from the warm floors of the diner where she spent most of her time. Holding the mysterious invitation tightly in her hand, she took a deep breath and stepped inside. Daniel, the billionaire, greeted her with a calm smile that barely hid the weight he carried. The atmosphere was tense, but charged with possibility. He explained that he wanted to give Mia a chance, not just to escape her struggles, but to be part of something bigger. A foundation to support hardworking people like her, those who often went unnoticed but deserved a fair shot at a better life. As he spoke, Mia's mind raced. Was this genuine? Or was it just another high-profile business move dressed up with good intentions? The doubts grew louder when Vanessa appeared unexpectedly. Her cold gaze cut through the room, and the tension between her and Daniel was palpable. Vanessa's sharp words hinted at hidden motives behind the foundation, warnings that this opportunity might come at a cost Mia hadn't yet imagined. Back at the diner, Pete and Jake waited anxiously for news. Mia's absence was already stirring whispers among the regulars. The local community that once embraced her now watched with mixed curiosity and skepticism. Would this change her? Would Mia become someone else entirely? Meanwhile, Daniel faced his own demons. The scandal that had pushed him into hiding wasn't far behind. His business rivals were circling, and whispers of sabotage and betrayal grew louder by the hour. Vanessa wasn't the only threat. With every passing moment, Mia felt pulled between hope and fear, between the life she knew and the uncertain future waiting for her. The invitation that once seemed like a chance now felt like a crossroads, and the choices she made next could change everything, for better or worse. Just as Mia started to believe this could be a fresh start, everything took an unexpected turn. One late evening, as she was going over documents related to the foundation, her phone buzzed with an anonymous message. The text was brief but chilling. Asterisk, not everything is as it seems. Trust no one. Asterisk, Mia's heart pounded. Who was watching her now? And what exactly was she getting into? The next day, at the office, things grew more complicated. Vanessa appeared once again, but this time with a secret weapon, documents revealing that the foundation wasn't entirely as philanthropic as Daniel made it seem. Some of the funds were allegedly linked to offshore accounts tied to shady business deals. The rumors of sabotage were more than just whispers. They were warnings about a deep-rooted conspiracy. Vanessa's cold smile was proof that she was playing a bigger game, one where Mia was just a piece on the chessboard. Daniel's face showed cracks of stress. His empire, already fragile from past scandals, now threatened to collapse under the weight of these revelations. He insisted he was unaware of the financial mess, blaming Vanessa and others behind the scenes. But the damage was done. Investors pulled back, the media smelled blood, and Mia was caught right in the middle. Back in the diner, Pete grew worried as Mia's absences became frequent. Jake, sensing the tension, started asking questions that Mia wasn't ready to answer. The life she tried so hard to protect was slipping away. Mia realized this wasn't just about a billionaire offering a helping hand. It was a tangled web of power, betrayal, and secrets. And with every new twist, the stakes rose higher. She had to decide. Would she fight to uncover the truth, risking everything she held dear, or walk away before it consumed her completely? Mia couldn't ignore the mounting pressure any longer. She confronted Daniel late one night in his sleek office, the city lights casting long shadows over his tense face. "I'm on the truth," she said firmly. "No more secrets." Daniel sighed, the weight of years of mistakes finally spilling out. He admitted that Vanessa had been manipulating the foundation's finances behind his back, using Mia's story as a shield while siphoning funds to cover old debts and hidden deals. He'd been blinded by trust and desperate to make amends, but his oversight nearly destroyed everything. "I wanted to change," he whispered, "but I let the past control me." Mia's resolve hardened. Instead of walking away, she offered a plan to expose the corruption, take back control, and rebuild the foundation with transparency and heart. Daniel agreed, and together they began gathering evidence against Vanessa and the others involved. The showdown came faster than expected. Vanessa, sensing her empire crumbling, tried to discredit Mia with a smear campaign, flooding social media with false accusations. But Mia's authenticity and Daniel's willingness to step forward won the public's trust. Authorities launched investigations, and Vanessa was arrested for fraud. As the dust settled, the foundation reopened, this time fully transparent and genuinely focused on helping hardworking people like Mia and Jake. Daniel committed to genuine change, supporting Mia's efforts to lead programs that gave real opportunities to those struggling. Just when Mia thought her life was finally on stable ground, she received a letter from an unexpected source, a childhood friend she had lost touch with years ago. Inside was a ticket to a prestigious culinary school, anonymously paid for. The note simply read, "Your dreams are still within reach. Don't give up." Mia smiled, realizing her life was not just changed by a billionaire watching her, but by the strength she had found within herself all along. With Vanessa behind bars and the foundation rebuilt from the ground up, Mia felt a new sense of purpose she hadn't known in years. The community that once only saw her as a waitress now looked to her as a symbol of resilience and hope. Pete kept the diner running smoothly, proud of his friend's journey but happy to have her return on weekends to serve those familiar faces. Jake smiled more these days, knowing his sister's dreams were finally taking flight. Mia's days became a balance between leading the foundation's programs and preparing for culinary school. The anonymous gift had reignited a spark inside her, a reminder that sometimes help comes in unexpected ways. She never did find out who sent the ticket, but maybe it didn't matter. What mattered was that someone believed in her potential, just like she had to start believing in herself. Daniel stayed by her side, not as a savior, but as a partner in change. He continued to work on rebuilding his reputation, learning from past mistakes, and dedicating himself to real impact. Their friendship grew stronger through honesty and shared goals, proving that even the most unlikely connections can bring about real transformation. Looking back, Mia understood that life had tested her in countless ways, from loss to hardship to betrayal. But those challenges shaped her into someone who refused to give up. Her story wasn't just about being noticed by a billionaire. It was about the power within every person to rise above circumstances, to find strength in kindness, and to create change from within. As the sun set over the town, Mia stood outside the diner, watching families gather inside. She smiled, knowing her journey was far from over, but confident she was exactly where she needed to be. Sometimes, life's biggest surprises come when you least expect them, and when you're ready to embrace them, everything changes forever.